Well, hey guys, welcome to my channel, welcome to my stream, welcome to another video, another chapter, working on this guy right here. That's our Su-35S Flanker E, 1/48 scale by Great Wall Hobbies. So, yeah, I'll just, we'll get right into it. Okay guys, well, I want to thank you for watching. Thanks for coming out. It's been a few days anyway, with it being the end of the year almost and Christmas time coming up soon. Well, I've been a little bit busy. So what are we going to be doing today? You might notice a couple of things down here on my desk. I've got the Canopy masked off. These are ready for painting. I did spend some time going through the process of getting rid of that seam line in the top there, so that's all cleaned up and looking about as good as I can get it anyway, which is, well, that's good enough anyway. I've done a little bit of work on my engine nozzles while I was away. I laid down some black primer, I've done some silver on there, and now I've got it masked off. Got our nozzles masked off, ready for the next color, which is going to be some copper color on those. I realize I'm not really showing that very much on these, but it is a long process, and it's like if I were to film it and we'll show you guys, it'd be like, okay, let's watch me mask these for an hour and then watch me paint it for 2 minutes, and then that's it. And so, yeah. On our other halves here, I sprayed a silver strip down the middle, and now I've cut, as you can see on my desk here, I've got a whole bunch of masking. Cut out these little tiny little rectangles of masking tape to put on each little fin that's going to go around there, and now this is going to get a coat of copper on it. So that's that. So besides that and going over that, what are we actually going to do today? Well, speaking of Canopy and stuff like that, I need to paint my canopy, so I'm going to fire up my air compressor right now so that we can get to this. And we're going to put some paint down on it, and we've got to put some bits in it. We've got to get this canopy done. The other thing I want to do is get the first coat of paint, the primary color. That's this stuff. I want to get this onto the fuselage. I want to get this bird looking a little bit more prepared, because I do have a lot of masking to do that splinter camo pattern that I'm going to be doing. But our base coat is this, and this needs to be laid down on there first. So I want to get that done today. So, up first, paint the outside of the canopy, so it's going to be black. So that's going to be nice and simple. Mr. Surfacer 1500 black is going to be a perfect color for it, because that's exactly what I need. So, I will change the camera, and I think I've got my painting cam kind of set up so you can watch me do my painting. Maybe it's pretty close. I think it is anyway. So yeah, compressor's all ready to go. So I'm going to get some thinner and I will put this in there. I don't need a lot of this stuff, just a little tiny bit. I'll just make sure it's shaken up real nice here. This stuff is pretty thick straight out of the jar, so I do need some thinner. So because I'm just doing the canopy, I'm not doing any kind of a real fancy coating. I just need some basic black laid down, right? That's really all I need. So first thing I'll do is add a little bit of thinner in here, just so I can have a roughly 50-50 mix. We will start with that. This down. Get our black. And put a little bit in the cup. There we go. Again, just a little drop is really all I need. Just a little bit. Just kind of agitate that a little bit in there. good enough. Clean that off. Wipe this off. Okay. I'll just leave that like that because it's not really going to be much. I'll change the camera to my painting cam. Hopefully I got it set up here properly. I'll take a look here. I don't know why it's being jittery like that. Let me try something here. Okay, painting cam is not going to work today because it's crapping out on me. So, but basically I'm just doing the outline of this. So I'll just do this quickly here. I do have this masked off more than I really need, but so basically that's it. That you get the idea of what I'm doing here, right? I'm just going around those edges. The inside of these things, they do get painted that cockpit blue. Which I believe I'm going to wind up doing I'll do the inside of them. I think I'll just use some brush paint and brush it. Okay, so that one's done. Just like that. That's good enough. That's really all I need. Right, and so I'll do the front one now. Go. And the front one's done. There we go. Just like that. Okay. So that is done. That's finished. So now I'm going to clean up my airbrush.
Later.
My airbrush is clean, so we can unmask these. I'll change to the overhead cam so you can see a little better what I'm doing here. Okay. So here we are. So, take these off now that I've finished painting these black. Let's get this off of here. It's a little bit unnerving when you get in there with a knife on the glass to take this off, but shouldn't be too bad. As long as you pull up from the plastic, it shouldn't be too bad. There we go. I hate that one. It would rather rip than just peel off. Let's go with this little point here. Okay, there's that. That one's done. Next, this guy. There we go. You know, at the time of year it is, I should be playing Christmas music. Maybe next video. Maybe next video I'll put on some Christmas music for you guys. We'll see. And it's funny, you know, such a diverse thing Christmas music is. Some people love it. A lot of people hate it. A lot of people can only stand it at Christmas time. Can only stand it for a day or two. It's really funny. Okay, so there we go. There's our canopy. And as you can see, I've cleaned up that seam line. Basically, I couldn't really get in right here with it, or right on the edge there. Right in these edges, I couldn't really do very much. But it is good enough. It's good enough for my taste. Anyway, it's going to look good when it's 2 or 3 feet away. When you're looking at it on the shelf, it's going to look great. Okay? And that's really all that matters. So, but like I mentioned before, the inside of this, all of our stuff that goes on the inside, that all gets painted that same color as the cockpit. That cockpit blue. This color here. Okay? So, keep in mind we're going to need that shortly. What do we need though? What is next? So, in regards to our canopy, they want us to put it on, but we're going to paint our fuselage first, so that's going to be later. Right now, we're going to deal with this guy. I-44 and, what is this piece? C-99. So, that's our 2 main trees that we've been pulling parts off for the last little while. This guy here. Now, from what I could tell, it's hard to tell. This looks like it's supposed to be blue on the underside, like this, but then black on the top. From what I could tell, that's what it should be, which is why I did not paint the top of this black, or I didn't paint it blue, I mean. And then I-44 is just this little kind of a ring somewhere on here, right here. It's a little bit hard to get off of there. Okay, so gotta clean this guy up. I didn't get in very good with my nippers, so I gotta clean this up. Clean up his little nub there. I'm not going to be able to get in very good with my knife, so I'll just trim it off with my nippers. There we go, that's better. Well, this guy's going to go on the top here. He's going to go in these little holes. So, how does he go? We're going to take our little pin. He's got one end that's a little pin. One side has a little pin on it there, and that side's going to go into that hole, like this. That's what it looks like anyway. Just like that. Put it into that little hole. It doesn't seem to go right away. And it's kind of weird. It almost looks like it would fit better if I had it turned around. But these holes don't look the greatest either. And I should clean up my nubs before I go anywhere on this. You know, like I said, the reference seems to show that the top of this is black, while the underneath of it is blue, right? Because this is going to wind up going in here, like this. Kind of like that. And then we're going to paint the perimeter of it is going to be painted blue, right? But it is going to sit in there like this, kind of like that. And it looks like nub marks need to be cleaned on these little edges. I'm tempted to just use my razor file, but I think I can trim them. I'm going to be very careful with these little edges. It's very easy to just slice right through this very thin little rod type of plastic. Anyway, we have this guy to deal with. Let me get the glue. This almost feels like it was a better fit if I put the pin that has the little nub into that hole better. And actually it won't fit that way. So my instinct is wrong. And so that's that, and that's how he goes. There we go. So with him glued in, I now want to paint this black on the top, because obviously once it's in here you're not going to be able to paint it, right? So we got to paint that first. So I'll get my brush and I'll get my Mr. Surfacer. That's a good paint to use. Now, how am I going to hold this? I think, well, alligator clip, yeah, you. Maybe in there, or maybe this. I don't know. Let's just do a test fit on this and see how this goes in again. It goes in like this. Okay, I will be able to get on this tab with a brush after. So I'll just grab it like that. And I'll just hold on to it like that, because I'll be able to get in the back and paint this again. So just go like this right along the top. I actually don't need to paint that part. It's just this part here. Just this part that needs it. Okay, yeah, you don't need to paint along here because that's going to be on the inside of that. So that's done. Alrighty. Okay. Clean this up. We'll grab our other pieces that need to go on this. Looking at the instructions, just kind of glossing them over here. It looks like I'm supposed to put this C67 and 68, put those down first. But that doesn't really make sense. It looks a little... Looking at this diagram here, it looks like these go into different spots, even though they got the lines. This line goes here, this guy goes down, so they want them going inside, a lot further down. And then this guy going, they show it here, but they show this going all the way down to here. This going to this edge. It's really confusing. I'm going to get these parts off of here, 67 and 68, off of our seed tree. I believe I already have them painted, these two here. They're already painted the blue color. Let's get these off of here. 67. It's this one. And then 68. It's this guy. Okay. I'm sure that's kind of hard to see now that's on here. And it looks like I've got a little bit of flashing to clean up on this. This is not supposed to be on here. So that needs to be cleaned off. I have the similar one on this one. Except this one's just a little more recognizable. Okay, this is 67, right? Clean up my nub. And this is 68. Let's clean up this nub. Okay. So, how do these go on? If I put this down first, can I get them in there? It's a little... $67 is this one. It's supposed to go this way. I believe it's supposed to go on the edge here. Line up along in there. And kind of attached to this. Along this edge here. Like that. I think. It's really, they don't really, no, I'm wrong. It's supposed to go right along this, where the black meets the glass, right along this bottom edge. So, kind of right along the edge right there like this. Okay, so now that I know that, I know these 2 points, this point here and this point here, that's where the glue is going to go. Two little points where the glue goes, there and there. And that's it. And it goes right in there. Trick, of course, is putting it on there. And having it stay just like that. Where are we here? Right in there like that. Turn this around. I'm actually going to change my glasses. I keep having to take my glasses off again. Put them on, take them off, put them on. And it's a bit of a pain in the neck. grab this one and turn it around. Hold on to it here. Same thing. Little dab there. Little dab there. And that's it. Now I'm going to put this in. Not gluing this down yet. I just want to make sure that I'm not interfering with the fitment of this. Yeah, see, I gotta make sure that they are gonna be friendly with each other. This one didn't get enough glue on it. Okay, there we go. Okay. So, we're going to redo the first one. Didn't get enough glue on this one, and so as soon as it got touched, it came off. Okay. Here we go. Another little test fit. Just kind of drop that in. How about we do this? No interference. Nope, we're good. Okay, that's that. So, the instructions tell me to paint the little loop that I glued on there, to paint that a burnt iron. So, I think this will work. This happens to be burnt metal. It's close enough. I think any kind of a copper / gold color would probably work. But we'll go with the burnt iron like they want. There we go. So noticeable, so you can really tell. Not. Just make me clean up my brush for nothing. It's really all they're doing. Okay, so next we're putting this guy in his home, and he's going to sit just like that. I'm going to use my thin. I'll use this one. Along in there. And along in there. And he will sit in there nicely. Now for the front of these, I'm going to use my quick setting thin. Just to make sure that they stay in their little spots where they belong, and won't have to hold them for so long. Because I'll be able to hold them there for a moment, and then they'll stay. Now it seems like it kind of feels like they're not like these little, like our rails, it looks like they stick out further than they're supposed to. But they might be fine. They might be fine. I don't know. It also feels like every time I put more glue on here, it's almost like it reactivates it and it wants to come off again. But it's okay. It's alright. Okay, let's work on this side now. The problem, I'd say the challenge with these kinds of things is you can't put a clamp on there. You literally just have to hold it and wait, right? And that's that. I would like to do a test fit with this now on the actual fuselage. And of course the challenge is it does stick out, so I don't think it's going to matter with this guy. I don't think they're going to interfere. It actually might, especially this one. You can see where that overlaps, right? I might have to trim that off, because that is, can you see how that's sticking out past the edge there? Just that little edge is sticking out past. I think once that glue is cured, I'm going to have to trim it. I do have this, it's all the way back. It's all the way back into its little slot, so I don't see why, I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, so anyway, that's that. Now, with that all done, there is the piece to put there. We also have our little mirrors that are supposed to go on. I-9, the mirrors that are supposed to go on around the perimeter there. And of course you're supposed to paint them your nice mirror color, but we're not going to do that just yet. We're not doing that today. We're not doing that today because the next thing we need to do is just checking out my camera. We're going to take a look at the fuselage. I have this masked off, but I don't have it masked quite properly. And of course, if I'm going to start painting this thing, I need to have the nose of this plane masked properly. So I basically just masked this off to cover it up while I was priming it. So let's just peel this back. Revealing our little cockpit again. Basically, this guy is going to go on the front here like that, just like so, and then this guy's going to go on here. But as far as what exactly stays black and what doesn't, we're basically just going to mask right along there, following the line of the canopy down the nose to the tip here, and that's all it is. It's really all we're doing. And that's all it's going to be masked off. Okay. So, what do I need? I don't need glue. I don't need my nippers. So let me put some stuff away here so that I can work without tipping over my glue. That's why I make sure your lids are on, because you can wind up in a world of trouble if you don't tighten your lids up. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so I also know that coming back here, the paint scheme over the fuselage or over the canopy kind of ends very abruptly. Here's the basic layout of it. It ends right at the canopy. So the edge of the back of the canopy really is where the black ends. It's got to tuck in there like that. So the back of the canopy really is where that ends there. So I don't need to worry about any of this being black at all. I literally just masking off the inside of the canopy. Okay, so I need to mask this. I'm going to get some masking tape here. I kind of want to mask with the flexible tape first. This stuff here. This happens to be, to me, as tape they call for doing curves. It's really just the same as any 3M vinyl tape. It's probably about the same price too. Get one end in where I need it. There. Oops. There we go. Does conform pretty good. I will give it that. I mean, it's vinyl, so yeah. There we go. Okay, so we're masked off. I already have my landing gear bays all masked off anyway. The only exception is this part here and in here. I don't have that masked, obviously, as you can still see the detail.
Moments later.
Alright, so I've got this masked off, although my masking tape is coming out here. Just a sec here. Let's get these out of the way. Okay, so I got this masked off, although this masking tape here is wanting to kind of give me some headache all of a sudden. Don't know why, but this is where it goes. This is your home. Why don't you want to stay in your home? Okay, so I got the intakes masked, or not the intakes. I got my landing gear base masked off. And before I do any more painting on this, I need to deal with my intakes here. Okay, looking at my reference photos and stuff like that, the insides of these guys are like a darker gray, definitely darker than the primer gray that I've got on here now currently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my dark sea gray, but I'm going to add maybe a drop or two of black to it. Okay, just to get it down to a color more like this. More like that, right? So I'm going to get my cup and I'll mix this up a little bit here. I'll get this. I'm going to change the camera here. Just so I can, you know what? I'm kind of tired of my camera not being focused. There we go. There we go. That's better. I'm going to add a little bit of black to this, I think, or maybe just a little bit darker gray. I think that, just add a little bit of that to it, I think, is a good solution. I'll do that. Add a little bit of dark gray to that. Grab one of my mixing cups before we get into anything else. I need to get those painted so that they're ready. I don't think, for a second there, I didn't think I even had a ball bearing in this jar. but I do. It tells me that it's not really thinned at all. Even though it looks like it's been thinned. So I want to go just a little bit. I don't need a lot of paint. I'm just doing the intakes. So that's my focus here, is them. So let's grab some of this now. Almost looks like I got a hair in this. No, just bubbles. Okay, so yeah, somewhere in between the two colors like that is what I want. Let's see, are you going to hold up or are you going to tip? I think you're going to tip, aren't you? We'll see. Okay, now I do need to thin this out, definitely. Definitely need some thinner in that before we go anywhere with that. Before we do anything with this, that needs to be thinned. The lighter gray already has some thinner in it to thin it out, but not enough, not quite enough to thin it. But let's see, that is plenty thin. And it's going to be darker than the other gray, which is good. It's definitely darker than my primer. There we go. So I think my painting camera is working working now. I think so. We're choppy again. I don't know why it keeps doing this. I'm just going to leave it. And yeah, we'll just deal with it this way. I got to paint the insides of these guys first. So the insides of these need to be this darker gray. And we'll do the walls too on these. Two coats just to make sure I got coverage. Okay, that's done. I'm not sure why. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It'd be interesting to see if the audio is doing that too. If the audio is choppy when I've got it on that camera. But now, of course, I gotta clean my airbrush again. So, my usual Mr. Surfacer 1500. That's gonna go into my cup. I do want to try and get my camera working better so that I can actually have it on there and have it working and then not be all choppy for you guys, okay? So I'm gonna play around with this right now, just hold on. Okay, I think it's good now. We'll see. Looks like it might be alright. Okay, so, black base. We're going to do black base. Going to go around all my paddle lines and have fun doing that. But we're going to do, get this thinned out because my black is not thinned quite enough. I might as well just do this. Yeah. Kind of suck it up and blow it back in, and that way we'll get our mixture. That should be good. Now, of course, I got a lot of black paint in my I like to have a clean pipette, or pipette, whatever you want to call it, pipette. I like it to be somewhat clean, even though my thinner is dirty. There we go. That's a bit better. Okay, let's put this away. Put this, we can close this up. We don't want to accidentally spill it. Okay, so let's go to our airplane. I'll switch this camera to our painting cam here, and we're going to work on this. Kind of got this a little bit too. We don't need to look at my big fat legs, do we? There we go. That's a little better. Okay, so the main thing is basically just outline everything. Every panel, every box, we're going to basically draw a little line around it. You don't have to be perfect. That's kind of the beauty of this, is you don't have to be perfect with it. Basically, you just want to follow every panel line nice and close and get a sort of a tight line along there. As you can see, I'm not doing the straightest of lines. I wish I could paint a little bit straighter than that, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, as long as your lines are kind of along those panels and those indents and stuff like that. You can see around all those little spots that I'm trying to circle them, but my paint is, I didn't thin it enough, and it's kind of not spraying very well, and I'm getting a little frustrated with it. I'm having to pull back the trigger on it a lot harder than I normally would, and then when I figure I've got that sweet spot where that's the same spot every time, I go to paint another line, and the trigger, I got to pull back way harder, and then it's a lot more color coming out of there than I want. It's just getting frustrating as I'm going along trying to do these lines, and I want to go quickly, but it's not letting me, and yeah, I kind of let my frustration build up as I go along on this, and yeah, but again, it doesn't really matter, because any mistakes that you make, if you miss the lines completely, we're going to be going over with a base coat of color anyway, and it basically, you can cover up all your little mistakes. As you can see, my lines are really not straight as I'm going along in that, and I'm just trying to go quickly along here, and just the airbrush and the paint is getting me a little more frustrated, and I want to get it over with, but that's the way it is. In hindsight, yeah, maybe I should have dumped the paint out and put a new batch in the brush, and thinned it properly, and then I would have had a much better time, but I didn't do that because it was flowing good enough that I was able to do some decent lines. And just a little bit of splattering as it came out a little bit there, and of course my head's in the way of the camera. That's always wonderful. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we need a shot of my hair. That's what I need. We need a shot of my hair. Everybody needs to see what my hair looks like. That's really, yeah, that's what you're here for, is my hair. Anyway, keep on going along. I finally get really frustrated at this wingtip here, and yeah, it's just get it over with and flood it with black paint. Get her done. Yeah, I'm done. Do these wing tips. Just get it over with, right? Yeah. There. Done. Now, I get to clean up my brush. This is where I'm going to end it. I'm frustrated. Stupid. I don't know why it's giving me such headache, and now my timer's done. Yeah, see, I'm done. I don't care anymore. I'm done. Our black base is done. I call it black base, but really our black outlining is finished. And so I need to clean out my brush. I need to calm down. And yeah, I might as well leave it here because that's got to dry. And our next episode is going to be putting on the blue color, which is going to be a lot easier to do. It's going to be a lot nicer. At least I'm hoping. And it's not really blue, it's the gray. The first color is the gray. Now, at the same time, I am anticipating some troubles with that one too, because it's the AK interactive paint, which is it's a water-based acrylic, just like Vallejo. It's like, I want to say it's exactly the same as Vallejo, but it's probably not exactly, but it's very close to Vallejo paints. It is designed for airbrushing so that it is thin, although it's not thin enough to spray right out of the bottle. You have to thin it, right? It's like Vallejo air colors, they are ready to spray right out of the bottle. Although really they're not, because you have to use flow improver on them if you want to really have any kind of success with them. At least that's my opinion. You need to add the flow improver, which is what I'm going to be doing with the AK paint. So there is that. So I shouldn't have too many problems, but it shouldn't piss me off as much as this one did, because this, not only am I not great at painting, airbrushing intricate stuff, when I'm having troubles with it flowing and painting properly at all, well, that just it's stuck under my craw. And yeah, anyway, this is where I'm going to leave it for today, guys. I got to finish cleaning up my airbrush and I got to let that dry. So I'm going to take the opportunity here to thank you guys for watching, and thanks for coming out. And thank you for the new subscribers and all the support. Thank you so much, guys. You guys are really awesome. And yeah, so this is where I'm going to leave it. I'm going to finish cleaning my brush, and we will see you all on the next one.